Hello and welcome to Senior Connections. This is our monthly program brought to you by Senior Resources of West Michigan, your local area agency on aging. And every month we try to come together and share some information about programs that serve older adults and their caregivers here in Muskegon County. And it could be anything from navigating services to trying to figure out prescription benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, all of those kind of things. And today we are going to talk about a couple of more programs involved with Senior Resources, which we've been doing for the last couple of months during this pandemic. And we hope you're all doing well, staying safe, washing your hands, wearing your mask. But today I am very excited to welcome two of my fabulous coworkers, Abby and Shannon, and I'm not saying their last names because I will butcher them and embarrass myself. So it is my pleasure to welcome you both ladies. And so I'm going to ask you both to tell me a little bit about yourselves. So Abby, we'll start with you because you've been with Senior Resources a little bit longer. Tell us about Abby.
All right. So I graduated from Grand Valley in 2015 with my bachelor's in social work. Before coming to Senior Resources, I was actually at the Muskegon County Circuit Court office. I was their divorce clerk for about 6 months and found that I just wasn't happy there. I missed working with the older population. So when I saw Senior Resources had a job opening for a social worker, I jumped right on that, and that's been about 4.5 years now. I've been doing both the nursing facility transition program, and I started out doing the initial assessments team for the My Choice Waiver program.
Wonderful. Shannon, tell us a little bit about you.
All right, I started out my adult life striving to be an amazing graphic designer. Never used it once. I got my associate's degree in it, but then decided I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I did that for both my children. And then when they were getting older, I decided to transition back into the work environment. So I started at their school, and I was like a noon mom. I substituted as a parapro in the special ed classes, and then I thought maybe I wanted to be a substitute teacher and maybe go on further with my education there, but no, that was not my gig. You have to have special powers to be a teacher, definitely. So then after that was good and the kids were old enough to get themselves going, I moved on to Burger King and became breakfast manager there, and that was good. I love customer service. So, and then a friend of mine had been hired at Senior Resources for a while. The loan closet job opened up, and she said that she thought I'd be a great fit.
She was right.
Yep. So I, bucked up because change is hard, but I went for it. I got it, and I'm so happy.
And you've been with us for how long now?
A year and a half now.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Yeah. So none of us are all that long because this month I'm 5 years. So we're going to talk a little bit more about both of you, but we'll start, Abby, with you. So you're a social worker and transition navigator for the Nursing Facility Transition Program. What does that mean?
So with both of my roles, I'm able to assist both individuals and their families who are in nursing homes be able to transition out of the nursing home back into the community, whether that be at home, a family member's home, or another type of community placement, and make sure that their discharge from the nursing facility is a safe one. We want to make sure that they have all the resources available to them to make sure that they can thrive outside of the facility.
So I think we talk about all the time, whenever anybody asks me what the mission is of Senior Resources, rather than recite the actual mission word for word, which honestly I couldn't tell you, I always say our mission is to keep people in their own homes or their choice of living facilities for as long as possible. Research shows that's what most people want, right? And it's cheaper, and it's usually better for them. So this is a program that makes sure that it isn't just an abrupt transition. You've been in a skilled care facility, maybe because you've been there for a while, but maybe it's been short term, right? Because a lot of people go to a skilled care facility or a nursing home for a short term because they're rehabbing from an injury or something, right?
Right, yeah, some have, either they've gone there for after surgery or after a medical condition. Some have even gone to nursing facilities after they've been at home and their family can't take care of them any longer. So they go to the facility, but it's not always the best environment for some. So they want to get out, but they don't either don't have a place to go, don't have the resources to care for themselves at home. So I help connect them with those resources to make sure that they can thrive outside of the facility and have the care that they need.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about what's the eligibility? How do you get involved in that? Besides, you have to have been in a skilled care facility, I'm guessing.
So the main eligibility for the program is, yes, they must reside in a nursing facility, but they also must have Medicaid, either active or pending Medicaid. We can help. And then they must have a barrier to transition out of this facility, whether that be they need medical equipment, they need like grab bars, walkers, wheelchairs, even a ramp we can help with. Or they need assistance with the activities of daily living, bathing, dressing, showering, some kind of barrier that prevents them from leaving the facility. Those are the main three that they must meet, and anyone can make a referral, so they can make a referral to us themselves. We've had numerous people that give Senior Resources a call and be like, I'm in a nursing facility and I want to get out. Family, friends, and even the social worker at the facility can make a referral.
Is there one of those that's more common, one of those referral sources?
The social workers,
Okay.
usually they talk with the residents there and with the families, and they find that they want to leave, but they need help. So they'll give our intake a call and do the referral that way. It's
Would you
usually the
say,
easiest.
do we find that a lot of the people that you work with are there maybe for a short term after a hospital stay or something, or is it a mix of that and people who've been there for longer term?
It's a mix. It's kind of rare sometimes to find people that are there longer term, but I've encountered a couple people that have been there 5-6 years and are now, at that point where they're like, I don't want to be here anymore. Or it's just, they can't be there anymore. And so they want to get out. Some of them are the short terms. They've been there only a couple days and they make the referral. So it's a little bit of a mix.
Yeah, I think that there's always, I think the misconception's changing, but I've heard a lot of, talked to a lot of people who think that once you get to a certain age or you start having problems doing things on your own, that your only choice is to go either to assisted living or to a skilled care facility. You don't realize that there's so much available help, whether it's your services or some in-home care, that maybe just a few hours a week, somebody helping you with a bath or getting something from our loan closet that helps you safely take a bath, or grab bars or reachers that allow you to stay home. And I think the word's getting out as we're living longer and people are realizing the different kind of services. But
I definitely agree with that. There have been a lot of people that I've run into that say, like, my only choice is to be in a nursing home, and it's like, no, you have the option to live at home, and you can safely with the right resources with you. And I think that has opened a lot of people up to being like, I don't need to be in this medical skilled environment to be able to take care of myself.
So give us some examples of some ways that you can help somebody.
So we are able to provide durable medical equipment, so grab bars, wheelchairs, walkers, raised toilet seats, things that sometimes Medicare and Medicaid don't provide, or they've provided in the past and you're not eligible for a new one just yet. We have also helped with referrals to in-home care programs. So like the My Choice Waiver program, Adult Home Help, Life Circles PACE, the VA, and other programs that may be able to help with those in-home cares that you may be eligible for. We're even sometimes able to assist with finding housing at times. So those are some of the more common ones that we help with.
Okay. So once somebody gets transitioned out into their living situation, then what happens? Are you staying in touch with them?
So I will stay, once they discharge from the facility, I stay in touch and make sure that all the referrals that were made during our connection, our conversations, those have implemented, that they're working, that if there's any new referrals that need to be made, I'm able to make those. And if anything needs to be purchased, like if you get home and you're like, I didn't realize I needed this, we're able to, help for usually it's a shorter period of time, but I have kept people for as long as there continues to be that need for me, I can stay on. So we don't have like a specific deadline that I have to meet, like you have to be done with this current resident by this time.
Okay.
It kind of fluctuates depending on everyone's needs.
But you're not generally handling somebody for a year or more than that. Are we talking months maybe?
Yeah,
Usually?
it can be months. It just, when they're in the facility, things change. If, I have them and they decline, I may have them longer.
Because they can't leave right
Because
away.
they
or
can't leave, or something changes, or housing isn't available. If they really can't go, they're not going to discharge unsafely. But once they discharge, usually it's it can be anywhere from a few weeks to a few months till
Okay.
that I hold on to them.
Wonderful.
So.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but we'll switch to Shannon. So another great program that we've had for a while at Senior Resources is our medical loan closet. So tell us a little bit more about that. Let's start with the basics. Do you
Okay.
remember, you weren't there, I wasn't there, even all of us together, I don't think have been there as long as the loan closet's been
Right,
around.
I hear it was established in 2006, so that's 14 years.
So that was even when we were on Sherman and not at Tanglewood Park. So.
And a man named Jay Larman started it up, and I hear that he's a legend, so I had some big shoes to fill. I've been
He was here when
only-
I started and when you started.
Only hear good things about him. So, and I think I've done pretty well, holding up my own. It is based on donations. So we take in donations from the community of their unused durable medical equipment and incontinence supplies, and then donate them out to the community. And we service Muskegon County, Ottawa County, and Oceana County. Mostly, older community, but I do have some people that call in, like if they're having foot surgery or knee surgery or even, back. It happens to all ages, and they need help. So,
And I think that's an important thing to let people know, because I think because it's housed in a senior serving building, people think you have to be 60 to come and get
Right,
that, but
and
you don't.
no.
And we certainly take donations from anybody, every
Yes.
age and that. So is there a cost for getting things from the loan closet?
no, absolutely not. There is some income guidelines for things that Senior Resources has purchased to fill in when we are low on donations. But if we get it donated from the public, it's there for anybody.
Okay. What kind of items, so we mentioned durable medical equipment, and the DME, we talk about that a lot internally, but what is durable medical equipment for people who might not know that terminology like we do?
It's like wheelchairs, walkers, shower benches, and those come in all different sizes. They have backs, they don't have backs, they're longer, so you can slide into the tub and stuff like that. And then sock aids, reachers, hopefully someone will donate some of them soon, because we've been out of those for a while. Yeah, walkers of all kinds.
We should have people go into that As Seen on TV store and buying a bunch of those for us. So are certain items more popular, in demand more than others?
Oh yeah, the hot items are the four-wheeled seated walkers with the brakes, the two-wheeled walkers mostly for people that have just got done with surgery, and shower chairs and benches. They fly out.
Well,
as soon
those
as
are
they
a
come
huge
in.
advantage to helping people
Yeah.
stay at home, right? Because it makes it much more safe to, whether it's over a tub getting in or a shower that just makes it easier for you to transition, especially if someone's in a wheelchair, or just somebody who has a hard time being on their feet for very long or is unsteady. And certainly there's no worse scenario I can imagine than wet. There's a reason there's a slippery when wet saying out there, and you're wet, and then sometimes people just lose their balance or whatever, and for safety, I would imagine that's a huge thing.
Huge.
So we talked about the items that are available. How has the pandemic changed the operation of the loan closet?
Well, it has changed it drastically, because before I could depend on the receptionists to be there, so people could come in whenever they needed and could to get their items. I would put them up there, and the receptionist would take it from there. But now they're working from home, the doors are locked, so I've had to make scheduled times. Like for a while now, it's been Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12:30 to 3:30. And they come, drive up front, they call me, then I bring it out to them. And that's been working quite well. I know it's not unrealistic. I know that won't work for everybody, so they call and, they need an earlier time, I just need to know when they're going to be there, because
You can't be waiting up
Yeah.
there and missing all the phone calls back
Yeah.
at your desk.
so that limits the walk-ins too. Like, people were used to just walking in when they needed something. My phone number's on the door. They can call, but I can't promise a call back while they're there. So
Right.
it's best to call ahead.
Right, and what's that phone number that they should be
It's
calling?
231-733-3570.
I have that memorized even. Because we used to do Facebook messages every Friday about items that we were seeking for donations.
Right.
So for the first couple of months of the pandemic, you really weren't even doing very much of you were really limited on when you were in the office. Now you're actually in, even though
Yeah.
we're not open, our building isn't open to the public, we're mostly still working remotely.
Yeah, I
but-
really had my hands tied then, because I only went certain days. So, like, if somebody showed up or they needed it, I was,
You're like, okay, you might have to wait for 2 days.
yeah.
So it's the kind of thing, and it's always just as we might have available. We can never guarantee
Yeah,
anything.
definitely.
You're not stopping, well, I don't know what you can even guarantee if you go to the store these days.
Yeah, right.
With supply chain. We can't
Yeah.
guarantee you toilet paper,
Right.
right? all the
Yeah, there's
time.
never a guarantee, but if
Right.
I have it, then they're welcome to.
Are we accepting donations currently?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes, yep.
So what kind of things are we constantly in need
Oh,
of?
constantly in need of, like I stated before, shower chairs of any kind. And then the incontinent products, like pull-ups mostly. We never really use any of the tape-ups, but we run through pull-ups like mad. Wipes, gloves, pads, bladder control pads. Yeah, those.
And so for those things, those incontinent supplies are obviously not things, we'll take partial packs of those and things as
Yes,
well,
yeah.
right? Because
Yeah,
I think a lot of times people think of those reusable items, but sometimes somebody's come home from the hospital and needed those short-term, or unfortunately somebody's passed, and they've got a lot of those things from somebody who was at home, and it's a great place to donate them.
And I know, like, some people don't really want, like, open packs, partially used. But I tell you, if you need it bad enough, I mean, it's there. And
Right.
it's unused, but, so just to keep that in mind.
And so we certainly prefer with the durable medical equipment that at least be clean. I mean, you're sanitizing
Yeah.
it and all of that as well, but try to at least have it be clean and good working repair. Don't bring us something that you wouldn't use, that you can't use, that you wouldn't want your friend to use,
Yes, please.
basically. Bring, if it's a mangled walker, trash. Don't
Right.
be donating things that aren't really usable
Yeah.
because
If
we're
the
just
brakes
same
don't
as-
work a little, I'm usually getting pretty good at fixing brakes, because sometimes they think, oh, this doesn't work anymore, but they just need to be tightened or something. So
Yeah, so there's some minor things
Yeah.
that we can do, like if there's a rubber cap missing off of a walker, I'm
Yeah,
sure there's things like that
definitely.
we can do some minor repairs. And then we occasionally get people who want to donate larger items that we don't have storage for, right?
Right.
So we hear about, well, you give examples
well,
of some of those.
hospital beds. I've had a lot of calls on Hoyer lifts lately, and the motorized scooters. We don't have any way to transport those or any place to store them. So when I get a call like that, I take their number, I ask them if it's okay that I give that number out to other people to call them. Then I put out an email to my coworkers to see if they have a participant in need, or if I get a call, because people call looking for them as well, then I try to set them up
So
and
you're a matchmaker,
make it work. Yeah, medical.
medical
equipment
equipment
matchmaker.
matchmaker.
Yep.
Ooh, there's another thing to add to your title.
There we go.
I like that, MEM. What kind of things do we not take as donations?
Feeding tube and feeding tube supplies, catheters and those supplies, diabetic equipment, oxygen tanks or anything, nebulizers, any of that stuff. There's a list on the
Right.
website too of stuff that we accept and don't accept.
Right.
So-
We don't take commodes anymore, do we, or are we
No.
back? Partly, a lot of these are because of cleaning
Yeah.
things, because there are certain things, like things with tubes and things
Yeah.
you just can't guarantee that you can get things sanitized.
I get a lot of calls requesting commodes, so it's kind of hard for me to turn them away. If I can't tell they've been used, I'll take them.
Okay.
But my boss is.
Okay, don't tell anybody she said that. Is there a limit to how long somebody can borrow something from the loan closet?
The only thing that has a limit are the knee scooters.
Okay.
Because they are hot. People are always requesting
And those are definitely things of all ages, because there are
Yes.
high school kids
Yep.
that have had knee surgery from lots of years of soccer or things
Yeah,
like
and
that. so.
I always tell them, they get 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If you need it longer, no problem. Just give me a call so I know what's going on with it and where it's at. But I still have people don't want to give them back,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to hunt them down sometimes. But
And we've got all of the durable medical equipments labeled with things. You're keeping inventory of
Yep.
things as well, right? So usually when somebody calls, looking at your computer, whether we've got something or not.
it's
But
not
that can change.
that dress.
Okay.
It's not
okay.
that in
All right.
detail.
But you can, but a lot of times you could tell somebody, I've heard you back when we were in the office, because we sit close to each other, that you could tell somebody, I don't at that moment, but literally a half an hour later it could have changed. Probably
Definitely.
not that quick of a turnaround
it's
now.
happened. Yeah.
So,
But most of the inventory is right up here.
well, it's a good thing you have a sharp mind. What do you enjoy about your job?
I just love helping people and making their life easier. Like it just feels good, If especially some people call and they're so just like frantic. They need this, they think they're not going to be able to have the stuff they need, like for their surgery, or they had an accident and and it's just so great when I can say, you know what, I got that, and then you hear the relief in their voice. And I helped this one girl out really well with a friend of hers fell, and she had this whole list, and she was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do, because they didn't have insurance.
And sometimes insurance doesn't cover all of the
Right,
things that
yeah,
people
too.
think it does anyway.
Yeah. But on top of the bills she was going to have to pay, and then to get this stuff,
That you need for a short time.
yeah, I had everything.
Wonderful.
It just worked out for her, so
Oh, perfect.
it's really good. So that makes you feel good. Yeah.
How about you, Abby? What do you enjoy about your job? And the difference in your job, because you were a social worker working with waiver, but now this is a little bit different with a specific focus. What do you enjoy about it?
It is a little different, but I get to use everything with it. The thing I love most is seeing the joy when they get to discharge. After being in the nursing home, whether it is, short term or they've been in there for a while, they're getting that new lease on life, being able to go to their own environment, have their own belongings, and the joy on their face it makes me so happy to be able to help them get out of that environment that sometimes they're just not happy in. And it takes a toll on them, both emotionally, physically, and mentally, to be in somewhere where they're not happy. We've had, some people that it's been a struggle for them to try to get out, and they've had health problems that they think they're getting out, and then it declines, and they think and they decline. But seeing them actually be able to get out of there, walk through those doors, and go home, they just couldn't be happier. And to know that I've had at least a little bit of part in that, it makes my day.
Do you have a lot of dealings with your families as well?
Yeah, I actually, some of them have more family involvement. Some of them don't have any family at all. So to be in both their lives, having family think I can't bring them home because I can't quit my job to take care of them, or I don't know what I'm going to do. They're unhappy. What can I do? Because it's taking a toll on my relationship with them. To be like, we have some resources to help you. They're just so happy to have somebody be able to help them.
So if somebody wants to get involved if they know somebody who's in a skilled care facility and they think they want to come home, they start by calling our options counselors?
Yes.
So that number is, I say this all the time, 231-733-3585. That's the gateway to virtually everything senior related. I always say not just senior resources programs, because we refer to those, but even as you said, you're not referring only to our programs, you're referring to all kinds of community resources.
Yeah, any resource that is able to help, I will research. If there's something I don't have or I don't know of, I will do the research and help and try to find it.
And we've got great resources in our building because we've got Renee who does housing, and you've got Loan Closet and all of that. And then
Yes, Shannon.
I imagine you two have a very close working relationship. And Shannon, even when you talk to people, if you're finding out, I always used to say about call 211, if they're calling for one need, a lot of times there's something else. So you're doing a little bit of that investigative,
Yes.
sometimes with
Yep.
them as well, because you're trained in the same things that the
Yes.
options counselors, so that you can help connect them.
Yeah. So I
If-
try to find the connections that, if I don't have it, I try to direct them in a different way to see where else they can get them.
So Abby, tell us, you shared one story, and I always love to hear the stories, the success stories. So share with us a little, obviously not giving any names, tell us about a case maybe that stands out in your mind that was really rewarding to you, or to the participant, which is probably means to you as well.
Yes, I take just about every case they hold a very dear place in my heart. The one that comes to mind is she had been in the nursing home for quite a long time, and she got better. She didn't need to be there anymore. And we were, after, I think it was about 2.5 years of trying to help, we got the call that she was able to leave, and we helped her out. We were able to set up all the referrals, all the equipment, everything lined up for her to be able to discharge the facility. I believe it was just shy of almost 2.5 years.
Wow.
And she was so happy, so happy to be able to get out of the facility, and just to see like the emotional part of it, when she was down, when she was up, the frustration, you feel that with them. She was so happy, and as she's been closed for me for a little while now, because it was successful. We got everything lined up for her. Last I knew, she was thriving.
Wonderful. Those are great stories to hear. So we've only got about a minute and a half left. So I'm going to point out some other resources. As Shannon mentioned, there is our website, www.seniorresourceswmi.org. You can find out information about all of our programs. There is, under our programs, the Medical Loan Closet, and that's where you can find the list of donations, what we accept and what we don't, and we welcome you to do that. You would need to call Shannon to make arrangements to pick that up, because again, the building's not open to the public, and her direct number is 733-3570. I'm looking to make sure I got that right? 3570. Or you can call our options counselors at 733-3585. And just as a reminder, there are a lot of other resources up there, and you can follow us on Facebook if you're on that, but we've got caregiving, and you can find out information about many of us on our contact page. There's always our news page that has our Senior Perspectives newsletter, our newspaper, and a lot of other informations, our Care Connections program. And if you can't remember that, and if you don't have computer access, you can always call our options counselors, or you can always call 211 at those 3 digits. They're open 24/7, and they know us very well. So Abby and Shannon, thanks so much for joining me. This half hour just flew by, and you were all nervous, and you did fabulous.
Thank you, Lisa.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk about these great programs and share that information. We will see you next month. We hope that you stay safe and healthy, and have a great day. Thanks. Seems like every time.